This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
2 days after learning about the state's first case of the coronavirus, we are now learning a second person has been diagnosed. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Griffin. Tonight, we know the second patient lives in Hendricks County and is in isolation. The Indiana State Department of Health says the patient traveled to Boston in late February to attend a Biogen conference and developed mild flu-like symptoms on March 2nd. More than a dozen COVID-19 cases nationwide have been tied to the conference, including a Marion County man who was identified Friday as the state's first case. The state's health commissioner is now asking Hoosiers who attended the Biogen conference to self-quarantine at home, monitor for symptoms, and notify their local health department if they develop a cough, fever, or shortness of breath. Churches throughout central Indiana are taking extra precautions to help protect their congregations against coronavirus. RTV6 reporter Kara Kenny went to Hendricks County, where the second case has now been confirmed. She's finding out what they are doing to address concerns.
Volunteers like Carrie here at Connection Point Christian Church in Brownsburg are being encouraged to wave at people attending today's services rather than shaking hands. For many Hoosiers, Sundays are a time to worship. Gathering thousands of people in one spot also means the potential for germs to spread. Connection Point is located in Hendricks County, where the second case of coronavirus was confirmed Sunday. Leaders at Connection Point are taking extra precautions. They're offering extra hand sanitizing stations, posting additional signage reminding people to wash hands, and wiping down door handles and surfaces between services.
Anytime you're in a situation like this where there could be people concerned about health, we just want to let them know that we care and we're making changes to help them feel safe.
Julie Barker attends Connection Point and has for 13 years. She calls the new measures an awesome idea.
I'll definitely use some extra hand sanitizer today.
Julie interacts with guests who are watching online. Connection Point now live streams 3 services every weekend, an option amid coronavirus concerns.
If they're feeling ill, they can join us online and still have the same experience, but if they can still join in person, we'd love to have them.
Pastor John Dickerson also reminded the congregation Sunday,
you've probably heard about the coronavirus.
They do not have to take communion, or they can do it at home.
We just want to give you permission and peace that if you pass that tray on and you don't take it today, guess what? You're not going to go to hell for that. We're saved by grace through faith, through Christ's work on the cross.
Next week, the church is making changes to communion.
We will actually have encapsulated individuals so people can take communion on their own and just feel a little bit safer. We don't want to have a sense of fear by any means, and that's not what God would want us to do either. We want to absolutely be sharing the hope through Him.
The church also shared its extra precautions with its members via email and social media. Connection Point will keep these measures in place until June, and then they'll reevaluate at that point. Reporting from Brownsburg, Kara Kenny, RTV6.
Kara, thank you. New at 11, Noblesville School is sending out a message to parents and staff tonight. A parent has been told to self-quarantine after attending an out-of-state event last week where another person tested positive for COVID-19. District officials say that parent will keep their children home as well in order to avoid any potential exposure to other students. So far, the parent has shown no symptoms. However, the family did attend baseball and swim events at Noblesville High School this weekend before the parent became aware of the need to self-quarantine. Officials say there's no need to panic, but if you were at those events, you should be extra vigilant in watching for symptoms. Eli Lilly is asking some of its employees to work from home for the time being to prevent the spread of coronavirus on its downtown campus. The pharmaceutical company says it is focusing on 2 priorities: protecting the health and safety of their employees and protecting their ability to make and supply safe medicines for patients. The majority of workers who will stay home are office-based employees. Lilly says people who work in manufacturing and research will continue to work at the company's facilities. Lilly employs 11,000 people in Indianapolis. The company is also restricting domestic travel among its U.S. employees. Tonight, we are learning that an Indiana University student who has not been on campus in 2020 has tested positive for coronavirus. The Kelly School of Business student was traveling between two CDC advisory designated level 3 countries. Another passenger on that same flight was also diagnosed with the virus. And tonight, IU health officials say the student is currently in isolation, receiving care in their home country. Tonight, IU health officials tell RTV6 multiple people have already used their virtual clinic to get screened for coronavirus. On Saturday, IU Health announced this new way to get screened without even leaving your home. When you log on through the virtual care mobile app, a live nurse or physician will then ask you a series of questions about where you've traveled and your symptoms. From there, they will recommend the next steps for care. Health officials are stressing the point that if you think you have symptoms of the coronavirus, do not show up at the hospital. Either use the virtual app or call ahead. Tonight, a Muncie couple is in quarantine on the Grand Princess cruise ship off the coast of California. The couple tells us 19 crew members and 2 passengers have tested positive for coronavirus on the ship. We did a Skype interview today with them to find out what it's been like and how they are trying to stay positive.
This is our balcony. It may be too dark to see, but it's really nice size.
Since Thursday afternoon, Vicki Fisher and her husband Bill have been in quarantine inside their room aboard the Grand Princess cruise ship.
We are on a 15-day cruise round trip out of San Francisco.
These are pictures the couple sent us from the beginning of the trip when they stopped in Hawaii.
We were still supposed to stop in Ensenada, Mexico, but they passed that port and thought we needed to get right back to San Francisco, and then found out we couldn't dock in San Francisco.
Cutting the cruise short and forcing passengers to quarantine comes after news that an elderly woman died from being exposed to coronavirus during a previous cruise on the same ship. More than 20 people on the current ship have also tested positive.
I mean, we're trying to exercise an abundance of caution on the ship and with Bill and I ourselves. We understand we don't want to contaminate anyone, so I have no grudge about being quarantined, really, whatever keeps everyone safe.
The couple is trying to stay in good spirits and make the best of the situation. On Saturday, Vicki celebrated her birthday by having room service on the balcony.
And it could have been worse. Some birthdays have just been really uneventful and not non-memorable. This one we will definitely remember.
Vicki says they don't want family members to get overly worried about their health and safety because right now they aren't showing any symptoms of the virus.
Oh, I can't talk about family. Oops. No, we're fine. We're really fine. I'm a crier, and I haven't cried yet, so I'm mad at myself. But if I start to talk about family, I will. So they're all safe, and, well, we're good.
She says they are expecting to dock in Oakland sometime Monday. Then it will take several days to disembark. She says what's next for the couple is what makes her anxious. They will be taken to a military institution to quarantine.
I believe Texas or Georgia. As long as we get home eventually and don't contaminate anybody else, we'll be happy.
Now, we do want to get the very latest on the impact the coronavirus outbreak is having across the country. ABC's Trevor Ault has these new developments.
The coronavirus death toll in the U.S. has risen to at least 22, at least 19 of them in Washington state, most associated with Life Care Center in Kirkland, one of 3 nursing homes in the state now dealing with the virus. 2 deaths now reported in Florida and another in California.
The state of California has over 10,000, in fact, 10,257 individuals that we are monitoring.
The governors of at least 9 states declaring states of emergency. As they deal with the growing crisis, states are turning to the federal government for help, many critical of the response.
The CDC, I believe, was slow to begin with. They were not ready for this. They should have been ready for this.
Has the president been perfect in his communication? I would say he hasn't communicated the way I would and the way I might like him to. But I think the rest of the team has been doing a pretty good job.
The president, though, tweeting Sunday, "We have a perfectly coordinated and fine-tuned plan at the White House for our attack on the coronavirus." Off the coast of California, passengers on the Grand Princess cruise ship growing frustrated. At least 21 people on board testing positive for COVID-19.
I kind of feel like we're floating around the drain, just waiting here to get the virus.
Plans are now underway to evacuate more than 2,400 passengers Monday at the Port of Oakland. The sickest will be transported to hospitals. Others will be taken to military bases for a mandatory 14-day quarantine. And foreigners will be repatriated to their home country. The U.S. State Department now advising Americans not to travel by cruise ship, especially so for people with underlying health conditions and the elderly. Overseas, Italy taking drastic measures. 16 million people now on lockdown with more than 7,000 infected and at least 366 deaths, the most outside China. Wedding and funerals postponed. Ski resorts, gyms, and malls all closed and visitors banned from the Vatican Museum. Trevor Ault, ABC News, New York.
Trevor, thank you. Throughout this process, our goal has been to educate and prepare you. And health officials say the best way to guard against this virus is to learn about it. We've compiled everything you need to know about coronavirus for you in one spot. Just head to theindychannel.com/coronavirus. Now to your Storm Team 6 forecast. Meteorologist Kyle Mountain standing by. Kyle, a great Sunday.
Yeah, we are wrapping up a beautiful weekend here across central Indiana with that sunshine today. We made it to 65, nearly 20 degrees above average. And even after 11 o'clock tonight, we're still right around 50. It's 53 in Kokomo, 49 in downtown. Still that south breeze, and that will stay through the overnight hours. Satellite is very quiet here. We look back to the south and west, and on radar, yeah, you can see the next weather system is developing there in portions of Kansas and Oklahoma. That will be sliding our way, but as you head out the door in the morning, we are still dry with temperatures in the upper 40s.
Kyle, thank you. New at 11, IPS says it has signed an agreement with the bus drivers union and says disruptions like what happened last month should now be a thing of history. In late February, about 18,000 students missed school when nearly 100 school bus drivers and monitors called off work. The call-offs came amid ongoing labor disputes between IPS and the union that represents the drivers. But IPS says it has reached an agreement that includes bonuses and transition assistance for employees whose contract with the district ends in June. The agreement goes to the school board tomorrow to be signed and ratified. An investigation is underway after a body was recovered from the White River just west of downtown. First responders were called to a trail behind the Indianapolis Zoo just after 3:30 this afternoon. Right now, IMPD says what led up to the person's death is being investigated. Their name has not been released, but as soon as we learn new information, we will be sure to update you. 3 people, including a young child, are dead after a wrong-way crash involving a suspected drunk driver in southern Indiana. Indiana State Police said they received numerous calls about a white Kia Sportage traveling the wrong way on I-65 just after 9 o'clock last night in Floyd County near New Albany. Before officers could locate the vehicle, the driver turned west onto I-265 and continued in the wrong direction. Minutes later, he collided with another vehicle, killing the 21-year-old driver. Her young son died at the hospital, and a front seat passenger also died. The driver who caused the crash is from Louisville. He's in the hospital tonight, and police believe alcohol was a factor, and he may face criminal charges. Heading north now to White County, where another suspected drunk driver destroyed a liquor store. State police troopers responded to the scene at Brookston Spirit on State Road 43 around 8 this morning. You can see officers found a truck had driven through the center of the small business and nearly out the other side. The driver complained of minor injuries at the scene. Medics checked him out, and then police arrested him. No one else was hurt. Coming up on the news at 11, the growing list of major endorsements for Joe Biden and for Bernie Sanders. We'll check in with the 2 frontrunners as they hit the campaign trail hard this weekend.
Responsible. This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Civil rights icon Representative John Lewis led other lawmakers and civil rights activists across the Edmund Pettus Bridge today. The bridge in Selma, Alabama is where Lewis was attacked with tear gas and billy clubs 55 years ago on what's known as Bloody Sunday. 17 people were hospitalized that day and dozens hurt when police tried to stop a march demanding the right to vote for African Americans. Today, Lewis locked arms with Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Senator Kamala Harris, and other civil rights activists and members of Congress. Lewis pleaded pleaded with people to, quote, vote like you've never voted before. Lewis was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer in December. He was not expected to attend today's event. Now to the race for president with another round of key voting ahead on Tuesday. The campaign is now a clear contest between Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders, and it's also becoming a battle of the endorsements as more are showing their support. Rachel Scott has the latest.
President Joe Biden.
Joe Biden continues to ride the momentum from Super Tuesday on the campaign trail in Mississippi today.
If I'm a comeback kid, there's only one reason I've come back. The African-American community all around the country.
Talking with voters and posing for photos during a lunch stop in Jackson. Biden launching a $12 million ad buy in 6 states that will be voting this month.
PolitiFact has called the Sanders campaign's attacks false.
Michigan has the most delegates up for grabs. The state's governor endorsing the former vice president.
It's really important that people are focusing on Michigan and that we are showing that we are engaged and that we are enthusiastic about Joe Biden.
Biden picking up yet another endorsement this weekend from a former rival.
I have decided that I am, with great enthusiasm, going to endorse Joe Biden for President of the United States.
Senator Bernie Sanders skipping a planned stop in Mississippi, focusing instead on Michigan. Appearing with civil rights leader Reverend Jesse Jackson in Grand Rapids, who was once a candidate for president himself.
I stand with Bernie Sanders today because he stood with me. I stand with him because he stands with you.
The Vermont senator fighting to take back the race.
Together we can, we must, and we will defeat the most dangerous president in the history of this country.
The two candidates locked in a tight race for the Democratic nomination. In all, 365 delegates are up for grabs this coming Tuesday. Rachel Scott, ABC News, Detroit.
Rachel, thank you. New tonight, Texas Senator Ted Cruz says he'll self-quarantine for 2 weeks after interacting with a coronavirus patient. The Republican attended the recent Conservative Political Action Conference. Another attendee has tested positive for coronavirus, and Senator Cruz interacted with that person. Cruz says he doesn't have any symptoms, but he'll stay isolated in Texas for 2 weeks just in case. And we do have breaking news just into the newsroom. We have just learned that Avon schools will have an e-learning day tomorrow after a student has tested positive for coronavirus. This information is posted right now on the Avon Schools website. So if you attend that school or you have a student that attends, please go to that website to get that information. Now we want to get to your Storm Team 6 forecast. We are wrapping up a beautiful weekend.
Yeah, and we're going to carry the warm temperatures into the week ahead. That's the nice part. The trade-off, we're going to get in on some rain once again, just as the ground was starting to dry out here. We look around central Indiana, and Indianapolis is actually the cool spot right now at 49 degrees. Elsewhere, we're still sitting in the 50s here, even after 11 o'clock on your Sunday night here in early March. We've got that south breeze about 10 to 15 miles per hour. And as we go through tonight, that will hold our temperatures into the middle 40s for the overnight low. Still, our skies will be mostly clear. As we go into tomorrow morning, though, the clouds will return to the area, and tomorrow's not going to be as bright of a day, but it's still going to be warm. Temperatures already into the middle 50s for your lunch hour tomorrow, and we'll make it back into the lower 60s in many spots, even with the mostly cloudy skies. 62 for you in Muncie, 63 in Columbus, and I think in the city we'll make it into the upper 60s or lower 60s, upper 50s for you in the Lafayette area. Tomorrow will be a little more breezy. We'll have those southwest winds gusting close to 30 miles per hour, and that's really throughout the day here. As far as rain goes, much of the day is going to be dry here right on into 5 o'clock in the evening. You can see we've got the cloud cover. There's the rain. That starts to move in from the west. I think really after 5 o'clock in the evening, between about 5 and 8 o'clock, we'll see that overspreading the region here and sticking with us through the overnight hours, even lingering into the first part of our Tuesday. However, after we get through the morning rush hour, notice by 9 a.m. on Tuesday, TrueCast is kind of clearing things out, at least as far as the rain is concerned. The clouds will hang back here a little bit. As far as rainfall, about a half an inch of rain is what's expected here with this round that comes in for the start of the work and school week. 7-day planning forecast, as we put it all together, those temperatures are going to be staying in the 50s and lower 60s for highs right through Friday, and occasionally we'll have some chances for rain. We've got another system that brings about a 30% chance of rain on Wednesday. Much of Thursday is dry, chance for some rain late in the day and Thursday night that lingers into Friday. And then next weekend, a little bit cooler, still not bad though. Our average high is in the upper 40s, and that's about where we'll be next Saturday and Sunday.
It's funny, this is becoming a trend. Rain every single Monday.
A lot of time, yeah. We've got a lot of wet weather, and it looks like it shouldn't be all that heavy the next several days.
At least we had a nice weekend.
Right.
All right, Kyle, thank you. Well, fed up female customers are telling their barbers and stylists to cut it out. They're tired of paying more for haircuts than men. Coming up, a new trend that aims to address the price differences.
Prices at Ross. Yes, for less.
It's a rift that some women feel when they go to the salon. Women with short, simple cuts still end up paying way more than a man, even if the time it takes for the haircut is the same. Annie Taylor reports a new way of charging by the minute that aims to change that.
I'll go to work and people are like, oh my gosh, your hair, and it's great, and it's a confidence booster and stuff.
Getting a great cut for anyone can do wonders on your mood.
We're really able to help people express themselves.
At B Suite Salon, giving unique cuts is nothing new, but how they price them is cutting edge.
Our salon is gender-free, especially when it comes to pricing.
Owner Danny B says clients pay by the time spent in the chair, not by their gender.
It's an arbitrary way to price a haircut. It's sexism in a place like where it doesn't need to exist.
On average, women pay about $43 for a cut, while a man pays $28 on average, according to the Beauty Association.
I've been liking the length, so we're not going to cut too much off.
Before coming to Danny, Emily was tired of paying more for her haircuts than her husband was paying for his, even though she says their time in the chair was the same.
Like the price would often go up every year, and it definitely came to a point where I was like, well, I guess I shouldn't be getting my haircut as much because I can't really afford this anymore.
It's not just haircuts that are priced by gender. The pink tax has brought to light the extra money women pay for products such as razors, shampoo, clothes, dry cleaning, and more.
It allows us to see where things are gendered and where they don't need to be. How have you been?
Hairstylist Avery and Sophia Marie says it's about making everyone feel included.
We have a really unique opportunity to meet people from all walks of life.
Besides giving great cuts, both Danny and Abrian believe equality and inclusion is just as important.
I just hope more companies and salons keep doing this. It's so important, and yeah, it's 2020. It's about time.
I'm Annie Taylor reporting.
Yeah, so I really just hope
Super Slam is back. See you at Denny's.
Remember those plastic green soldiers you might have played with as a child? Well, they were all probably male. A company called BMC Toys will change that this holiday season. The toys will come in 15 poses like Bazooka Operator and Captain. BMC is taking orders for them right now, and it plans to ship the first sets in October. The figures are the result of a Plastic Army Women project. BMC owner Jeff Immel says a 6-year-old girl named Vivian asked him to, quote, make Army girls that look like women. It melted his heart and other hearts too. A Kickstarter campaign paid for the design work. Now the toys will be ready soon for playtime with kids like Vivian. Love that story.
Very much. And as we go into tomorrow, I think you're going to like these temperatures. Once again, we'll see those highs getting around 60 degrees. Rain chances holding off until the evening. A fairly mild week of weather for us. Occasional rain chances in there as well.
All right, Kyle, thank you. And thank you so much for joining us. Good Morning Indiana starts at 4:30. Have a great night.